Welcome to The Dive, your daily deep dive into the transformative ideas shaping today's world. Join your hosts, Tim and Kim, as they distill key lessons from best-selling books authored by the world's leading thought leaders. Each episode offers insightful discussions designed to inspire personal growth and spark meaningful change. Tune in every day to embark on a journey of discovery and enlightenment with The Dive.
All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive, into leadership,
Okay.
specifically influence,
All right.
and we're taking a look at day 2 of the law of influence.
Okay, cool.
And it really kind of throws down the gauntlet right from the beginning, saying that leadership is not about titles or positions,
Right.
but it's really about one life influencing another.
Yeah,
So does that resonate with you at all?
absolutely. I mean, it's so true, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how many times have we seen people that, don't have a fancy title,
Right.
but they make a huge impact
Yeah. Have you experienced that in your life?
all the time? I mean, I think about some of the people that have been most influential for me, and they weren't, CEOs or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
It was just people who really knew how to connect and inspire.
Yeah. So how do you think this idea of influence, how does that actually work,
Yeah.
like on a practical level?
Well, I think the source makes a really good point about, just thinking about how we impact others.
Okay.
It's not about giving orders or having a certain position. It's about how we inspire and motivate people.
Yeah. And the source uses a really interesting example. They talk about Jesus,
Right?
who, despite not having traditional power or authority, had this immense influence that continues, even to this day.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating because they talk about how his leadership was really rooted in things like compassion and humility.
Right.
And a deep commitment to serving others,
Right.
It wasn't about power over people. It was about empowering people.
Yeah. And that contrasts really sharply with like the example they give of a manager who's kind of just, phoning it in,
Totally.
who's just relying on their title.
Exactly. They might have the authority, but do they actually inspire anyone?
Right. Are they actually leading?
Right, exactly.
So the source then goes on to break down this idea of building influence into 3 core principles. And they are cultivating relationships, leading by example,
Okay.
and serving others.
Got it.
So let's
Yeah.
start with cultivating relationships.
Sure.
And the source is pretty blunt about this. They're like, no connection, no influence.
Right. You gotta have that connection.
Yeah, gotta have that foundation.
Yeah, and it's about genuine connection, right? Not
Yeah.
just superficial stuff.
Right.
It's about really getting to know people, building trust, showing them respect, even when you don't agree.
So active listening is a part of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Really trying to understand where somebody's coming from.
Yeah, even if you're like, I don't agree with this at all,
Right.
you can still listen and try to understand.
Yeah, and that actually leads us really well into the second principle,
Okay.
which is leading by example.
Right.
And this is something we've all heard before. Actions speak louder than words.
And classic.
But it's true.
It is.
You can't just talk about integrity. You have to live it.
You got to walk the walk.
Yeah, and so like if you want to inspire your team or your family or whoever to be dedicated,
Right.
you have to be dedicated.
You got to model it.
If you want them to be innovative,
You got to be innovative.
yeah, you have to embody that yourself.
And I think everyone's had that experience, right? Where they've
Yeah.
worked with someone who's like all talk, no action.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, we got to be a team, but then they never collaborate with anyone.
Right. It's like that hypocrisy.
It undermines everything.
It's so damaging.
Totally.
And the final principle is serving others.
Okay.
And this one really hit home for me
Yeah.
because it's about putting the needs of others ahead of your own.
It's a powerful idea.
Yeah, it's like whether it's your team or your family, your community.
Your community, right?
Yeah, if they know that you are there to serve them,
Mm-hmm.
that builds so much trust and loyalty.
It shows a real commitment.
Yeah.
It's not about what you can get out of it.
Right.
It's about genuinely helping others.
And this is where they bring in the story of Nelson Mandela,
Oh, yeah.
who, even when he was imprisoned, his influence continued to grow
It's incredible.
because of his unwavering
To
dedication
his people, to his cause.
to his cause, to his people,
And he lived by these principles.
Yeah.
Even in the most difficult circumstances.
even in prison.
Yeah. It's inspiring.
Yeah, so it's like if influence is the true currency of leadership,
Mm-hmm.
then how can we, regardless of our position, How can we use these principles to become more effective leaders?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about waiting for a title.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we can all be leaders.
In our own way.
Yeah, in our own way, in our families.
In our community.
At work.
At work. Wherever.
Wherever we are.
So it's about cultivating those relationships. Leading by example.
Serving others.
Serving others.
Yeah.
That's how we make a real difference. Yeah. So what do you think is the most important thing for people to remember from all of this?
Well, I think it's that leadership isn't about a position or a title.
Okay.
It's about how we impact the world around us.
Yeah.
It's about the influence we have on others and the legacy we leave behind.
And that's something we can all work on?
Absolutely. We all have the potential to be influential leaders no matter who we are or what we do.
So how would you challenge our listeners to kind of put this into practice?
Well, I'd ask them to think about their own lives, you know?
Okay.
How can you cultivate stronger relationships? How can you lead by example in your everyday actions?
Okay.
And how can you find ways to serve others?
Those are great questions.
These are the things that really matter.
Yeah.
And they can make a real difference in the world.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
This has been a really insightful deep dive into the power of influence.
Absolutely.
And I hope our listeners will take these ideas to heart and start thinking about how they can become more influential leaders in their own lives.
That's what it's all about.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Dive. We hope today's exploration of groundbreaking ideas has provided you with valuable insights to apply in your own life. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our daily episodes. If you enjoyed today's discussion, please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep diving your mind to new horizons.